All right, Andrew here with Bootbox Media, and we are on another episode of Inside the Box, where we talk to local businesses, really anybody that just wants to stop by the studio, honestly, but try to focus on local businesses here in town in Springfield, Illinois. Today we have Janet Cook with Vivacious Wellness Personal Coaching. How are you doing today, Janet?
I'm outstanding. Thank you for asking.
So real quick, because I know I'll forget, and I'll probably forget at the end, and Ryan over here will probably have to remind me, but I'm trying to do something at the beginning of every one of these. I ask the question, what is the hardest part of being a business owner? So I don't want you to answer it now.
Oh, okay.
We're going to save that for the end, but just keep that in the back of your mind, and we'll get back to it at the end of the podcast as long as I don't forget, which I have almost done a couple times.
Okay.
So Janet, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are? A little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Janet Cook. I grew up in Clinton, Illinois. I ran away and joined the circus in New York City for 25 years.
Did you? No, you didn't.
No.
I was like, that's going to be some good stories. Let's just focus on that.
Well, I remember telling my father, who's now deceased, I said, I'm going to move to New York City. He goes, only the weirdos, wackos, and crazy people live there. I go, I'll fit in. So
you did go to New York, though?
I did.
Oh, that's cool. How long were you there for?
I was actually took a little jaunt to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for about 3 years in the mid 90s. And then I think it was 96 that I went to New York City. And I did a number of things. I had a dream of being a children's clothing designer, which fell flat on my face. But it was a good experience in learning how to network and find jobs in New York City after grad school. And so I did that for a bit. And then in 1997 or maybe, 98, I hated my job and I was really getting into personal development and read Deepak Chopra, and he wrote the 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. And there's a chapter on the law of Dharma. And he said, okay, now put the book down, think about what you would do. And you pick it back up. And he said, if you're doing exactly what you said you would be doing, you've found your Dharma. If you said
Dharma,
like DH, like Greg and Dharma. I think there was a show on that. But Dharma means purpose in life. And he said, if you're thinking you would be doing something else, then you haven't found your Dharma.
Interesting.
So I quit my job. I had one day my boss who was going through menopause
in New York City
at a company called Canal Jean Company, which was on Broadway down in Soho, which means south of Houston. She was having a bad day and took it out on me, and I just said, that's it. And I had been interviewing for some jobs, and I ran out the door and jumped in a cab and was a little bit like, what did I just do? And the cab driver said I looked so happy. And
Isn't that weird when you leave a job? It's especially in a surprise, like not planning like that. That's
no, it was not planned.
First, you're like, was that a good decision? I don't know what to do.
I know. I got home and called a woman that I was coaching with, and I said, I know this is like your meditation time, but I just have to call and talk to somebody. I just quit my job, and she's like. So it took 6 months. I had the opportunity to take 6 months off. I got unemployment and had some other side jobs and friends who paid me or, gave me a little cash for doing stuff for them. And anyway, I decided to open a nanny babysitting service. And so I had been a weekend nanny and a grad school nanny, a live-in nanny in Philadelphia. And I said, I'm really good at looking at where people are and evaluating their needs. And I said, why not to do it with parents and caregivers? So I started my business in January 98, called My Child's Best Friend.
In New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I was like a nanny broker.
Okay.
And one of my first clients was Anna Wintour.
I have no idea who that is.
She's very big in the fashion industry and Vogue magazine. And very nice. She was actually they modeled the movie The Devil Wears Prada.
Nice.
Yeah. But she was great
that's cool.
to me. I had a lot of clients who were in the banking industry and lawyers and business people. And
those are probably the best ones to have. They sounds like they typically have all the money. So
they did. And so that was my first stint of being an entrepreneur. And then 9/11 happened.
So were you in New York
Yes.
when it happened? No
Yes.
way, really? Wow.
Yeah, I lived on 12th between 5th and 6th. And whether you were on 5th or 6th Avenue, you could see the Twin Towers. And I loved spending time down around the Twin Towers. And I used to ride my bike down there. And luckily that day I didn't ride my bike down there that summer.
But you were there?
Mm-hmm.
How was that? That must have been nuts. I follow this YouTuber, and he always films. You know what I mean? Even back then he did
Mm-hmm.
with, and he had all kinds of footage of him during that day. And I was like, man, that must have been so crazy.
Well, it's crazy. I ran my operation from my apartment, which was not what I was supposed to do, but I had a cover office. I guess a place I said was my office, which I would meet with caregivers there every once in a while. And so I got in a throwing away frenzy, like decluttering my office / studio apartment. And I was up until, 4 o'clock in the morning and did not get up and ride my bike that day. And all my friends were nannies. And so we'd all talk in the morning and they were blowing my phone up. And I was like, oh my God, who's calling me? And I said, what? And they're like, where are you? I go, I'm home. You haven't been out? No. Turn on the TV. So
wow.
I would have been down there.
So
would have been down there when the
I've
planes
only
hit.
been to New York City once. How close was where you lived then to where that was at?
Well, my apartment was faced in the back of Forbes magazine, which was like 2 blocks from Union Square.
Okay.
So I don't know how many, but I mean, you could see the Twin Towers.
But like, did you
while.
get like smoke and debris down by you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the hospital that was open down there, it was crazy, Andrew. I mean, like my friends.
I can't even imagine. No, it's just because it's like an apocalypse, basically.
Right. It was like, what just happened? And so they were expecting all these casualties, and there wasn't any.
By you mean?
Yeah. At the hospital there, my friends who worked in the healthcare industry, they were Carla and Chris. They couldn't get home because they closed down all the bridges and the tunnels, so they stayed with me. And yeah, there were no bodies. No
Jeez.
bodies to be treated. So
That's interesting.
and people were just walking around like, what just happened? And
yeah, I bet that was because nobody had any idea, you know what I mean, until they finally started trying to release information. And
right.
I've watched a lot of those conspiracy things about it. It's like
that was wild. I mean, to watch that on TV and just know it was happening
right
just down down in Lower Manhattan. And not only that, I mean, I had to run my air conditioner well into the winter because you couldn't keep the air quality was so bad.
Oh, so to filter.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So, what kind of was the next step there? What would we lead to next?
Oh, okay. So I had my nanny business. Well, then I had this crazy. Okay, so you're gonna get up close and personal. A lot of people know this story. So I had no boobs. In fact, it was an A-, and I woke up one day, and this is when I still had my nanny business, and I said, I'm gonna get a boob job. This was like 2003, maybe 2-3. I said, I'm gonna get a boob job. I don't know how I'm gonna pay it, but I'm going to get a boob job. And I'm a student of the law of attraction. And I just said, I know I can do this. And so put it up on my vision board, started going and meeting plastic surgeons in town and finding out the difference between a $5,000 boob job and a $10,000 boob job. A lot. The quality. And so long story short, 2004, I got my breast augmentation in July, and I almost bled out and died because I threw a blood clot, and we didn't know that I had what's called a hemangioma on my liver. You ever see people look like they have like a wine stain on their face? Yeah, that's an external hemangioma. Mine was on my liver, and it had grown with me like one of my internal organs to 11 pounds.
Jesus.
I know.
Oh, big old.
It was big old. So they evacuated one blood clot, and then days later.
How did that? So why they were doing the augmentation? They found this?
No, this happened. What happened was they did the boob job, and then I threw a blood clot. They evacuated it, and then 3 days later, I threw another blood clot, and so they thought I had a bleeding disorder called. Whatever. Yeah. If there's some type of bleeding disorder.
Right.
And so they treated me for that. And it took them 2 weeks to discover, she's got a mass on her liver.
Jeez.
So we say that my summer was a bust and my vanity saved my life.
But then so from there, this led you into...
Oh, yeah. So I had that health crisis, and then 6 months later, I had a hole in my diaphragm, and they cut out 2 feet of my small intestine that had died. And so I was dealing with a lot of binge drinking, because I was suffering from post-operative depression. My business was going in the crapper, and I never felt so powerless in my life. So I checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go through a lot of stuff and I can't even imagine that stuff. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I've been pretty fortunate to not have to deal with any crazy health issues. But yeah, I can't imagine stuff that kind of brings you down like that. Like I remember I had a broken ankle one time, and I just hated it. I was so like, I couldn't do anything. I was just laid up. I lived on the top floor of an apartment building. I had no elevator. I had to go up the stairs like 2 or 3 times, you know what I mean? With crutches, and it was just terrible. So, but, so from there, you had an epiphany. You're ready to turn it around.
Well, yes, I did. It took some time, and I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, how did I make that through that time? And I had lots of angels in my life and great people who came and helped me. I didn't realize that they were my angels. And so I got through that, and I closed my business with, I just wasn't passionate about it. And that
right.
I knew it was over. I knew that chapter was over, and there was just no way to turn it around. And so, because the internet came in and started giving away caregivers that I was spending hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars to acquire through my networking or through my recruiting opportunities.
So you mean like people could basically find their caregivers online, and
Yeah.
kind of eliminated the need for a middle woman, kind of basically, right?
I was like a screening service. And so I really would investigate these people. I'd ask them questions. I could trip them up. I always knew when they were lying to me. So yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. Made it through that. And then I went and sold chocolate for a company out of Brooklyn, a startup chocolate company. And I was selling chocolate to hotels and companies like with these little boxes, and it was rough.
Really?
And I don't like
chocolate.
I didn't like chocolate.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a chocolatier who worked for one of the 5-star restaurants, Le Cirque.
It's funny because there's all these weird little things that obviously have to have some sort of sales person, and you don't think about them. It's like, oh, I'm a chocolate salesperson.
Yeah, so that I did that for a while, and I was studying acting, and my coach was Anne Rattray. Her son is Devin Rattray, and he was in Home Alone. He's Buzz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I had some acting, and I started getting some acting gigs. I was on Lipstick Jungle and Castle, and yeah, you could see me for like 2 seconds. And so that was my claim to
stint of fame there.
I'm a closet actress.
Oh, that's funny.
So that just wasn't going in the direction I wanted.
Yeah, just trying things, figuring out what's right.
So I was like, oh man, this is probably not where I need to go. But long story short, I just always had an interest in health and wellness, and having that health crisis made me feel like, okay, there's a calling here. So I started studying at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
There in New York?
Yes. And it's the world's largest nutrition school. And it wasn't until I went there to realize that it's not our lives. We fuel ourselves with our lives. And so a lot of times when we just focus on diet and exercise and our lives are messy, that's why people can't stick to a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I was one of those people I have an eating disorder background, binge and purge, wanted to keep my teeth, did the skipping food or dieting. So I had that history. And so I really wanted to heal myself.
I'm blessed because I have a good metabolism, but I definitely I know will eat too much. I always eat till I'm like stuffed.
Right.
And it's like, you don't need to eat this much. Just stop a little bit sooner. You'll feel way better.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually were trying, don't you carry the good gut stuff at your place?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They brought us some this week and we tried them. And one of the comments we received was that it doesn't fill you up. And I was like, actually, I kind of like that I'm not like 100% like stuffed, because at lunchtime, especially when you're working and trying to keep going throughout the day, you're not like crashing from being stuffed. So those weren't too bad though.
Yeah. I like that. That's a tool in our toolbox. So what else? Oh, so integrative nutrition is on the principles that we feed our lives with the work or career option, our relationships, our physical activity, and our spirituality. And when one or more of those are out of balance, which are our primary foods, then we go and start focusing more on secondary foods. So,
and this is what they were you were learning at the what was the name of it again?
Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
Integrative Nutrition,
right? IIN.
Okay.
So you might see me every once in a while say, "I'm IIN 2009."
Yeah. So you went there, and
yes.
How long did you stick around?
That was from 2008 to 9. I also went to the American Academy of Personal Training. So I'm not just
in New York also.
Yes. And I'm not just one of those trainers or people who said, "Oh, I'm going to be a trainer and take a test." So I have a sports background, a dance background, and also had been personal training. So I know my body and know a little bit about physiology. So it was a 260-hour course that was in the classroom and in a gym setting. And so I learned how to work with machines, body weight, bands, kettlebells, tubes, everything, and learning the pros and the cons and how to analyze how people move and to be able to prescribe exercises that are appropriate.
Okay.
So that was fun. And so, so I worked.
So you got those certifications. How long did you actually do that stuff in New York then?
I did. I worked at Equinox for about a year, and then I said,
a gym? Or?
Yes, they're a very high-end gym. Hoity-toity. Right. You pay about $150, $200 for a membership. Yeah. The floors are so clean, you could eat off them.
Yeah. I know my brother's a member of this. Well, his company pays for it, Microsoft. But it was crazy out in Seattle. I went with them to the gym, and I was like, Jesus.
Right. It's like an experience.
Yeah. He's like, you don't want to know what it costs to be a regular member here if you're not like a business, making the deals for their employees.
Well, actually, Equinox, the original owners, went to Integrative, and so they got the philosophy for Equinox that we go through the different seasons, also through Integrative. And I think it was two brothers and a sister. I don't know, but they sold their business to real estate developers, and then it became all about the numbers. And so I had some great mentoring and training there, and I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I want to do this myself. So I broke out.
Time to move on.
And so I wanted to build a sacred and safe space for women that was semi-private and not a gym where they could come in and be loved on. Well, God didn't want me to do it there. Blew my life up. I married somebody I shouldn't have married.
It's got to be hard, though, there. You know what I mean? Just everything's so friggin' expensive. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say everything, but I mean to get, like, a place to do that is expensive. Like food, like up in Chicago, I feel like I could eat pretty good for around the same price as here in Springfield, honestly, unless you're, like, really fancy, obviously. And New York was a little bit similar on that stuff, but, man, just, like, space, apartments, like anything that has to do with, like, real estate or space is so expensive in cities like that.
I will say that my mortgage for rent for one of my apartments was $1,900.
Yeah.
Right. It was probably about not even the size of this room.
Right. Yeah. No, it's crazy what they charge.
Yeah. So anyway, I blew my life up and ran out of lives. I would say it like I'm a cat. I have 9 lives. So I came back and asked my parents if I could come back and mooch off of them with the intention of going back to New York within a year. Right. And that's when I came back and I found my mom sick with, we didn't know what type, but it was cancer. Yeah. And my father disclosed 6 weeks later that he had stage 4 congestive heart failure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
all around the same time.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be about me, but it wasn't.
They're like, well, now that you're back, we're going to drop a couple things on you here.
So
what year would that have been you came back then?
2012, August of 2012. And I have some siblings in the area. And so between all of us, we took care of mom and dad, and
I know how that goes.
Yeah, that sucked. I know you do.
When my dad got cancer, I was working at Ace sign company, and eventually, obviously, he couldn't take care of himself, and I just went to him and I was just like, "Hey, I got to take some time off." I was like, "If you guys need to replace me, I understand."
Right.
I was like, "I just got to go take care of him." And how long was it? I don't know. It was like 3 months or something.
Yeah.
Or I just left work and was with him. We would split it. I'd be there like all night long, and then somebody else, either my sister or mom or something, would be there during the day to help.
It's, a lot of people don't realize it's called caregiver syndrome or caretaker syndrome, and caring for a loved one is really traumatic.
It was a crazy experience.
Yeah.
You know what was interesting is to see the circle of life, because you start as a baby and you can't do anything and you can't take care of yourself and you're chewing on things and all this stuff, and then obviously you learn and grow up and you're an adult. But then as he was getting closer to the end, it was literally like he was a baby. He was shriveled up a little bit and he couldn't talk at all, and he was chewing on, like, I literally went to Walmart and got him a baby toy because he was chewing on like remotes and stuff.
Oh boy.
And it was crazy to see. It was it was definitely a weird thing to go through. Yeah.
Well, I gained 30 pounds
during that time.
2014 to 15. Yeah. I put on 30 pounds like that. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was pretty angry at a lot of people and myself and my parents, and so when they passed, my mom passed away in St. Patrick's Day of 2015, and then our father passed away July 31st of 2015, and they had been married 63 years and had been together since they were 19, in high school, 17. And so a lot of...
You don't see that much these days.
No. But, the beauty of being with them, Andrew, was I got to see that unconditional love, and my dad just, watching him be helpless and not being able to help my mom. That was humbling. So here it is, fall of 2015, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm on my own now. What the heck am I going to do? And so I had a woman that I was friends with, or had become friends with here in town, and she's a clinical social worker. And she said, you need to go and do what you said you were going to do in New York. I'm like, I'm too old. Oh, wait, no. Cancel. Okay. So I had already had my corporation, or my, because I used to be NYC healthy chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't fly very well. Like, we're in Springfield.
Right.
So that's when I shortly after coming to Springfield and realizing I was going to be here, I was like, well, what do I call my business? Well, what do I think? How do people describe me? Lively, spirited. Oh, vivacious. So that's where I came up with Vivacious Wellness Personal Coaching. And so joined a couple BNI groups and was doing it part-time. But then in 2015, that's like, okay, it's now time. And I had set a really big goal that by the time I was 50, I'd be in the best shape of my life, and I'd be on stage with stripper heels, spray tan, and a bejeweled bikini.
At a competition?
Yeah, for a fitness competition. No, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm a fitness competitor.
So when did you actually start Vivacious?
I got recertified, and I had a very nice person that I was friends with and colleagues, and he'd opened a space, and I went and opened up my little shingle under his shingle, and that was May of 2016.
Okay.
So that's when I officially started the whole kit and caboodle. I couldn't give personal training away.
Yeah.
Or my coaching. And I was really blessed. This is crazy. So I'm working out at David's Bridal. Loved that job. And I was also working for a couple that are doctors, and they were their family was going down to North Carolina. So they were in transition. So I, did that, and then I'm like, okay, it's now time. Got to do it. money's running out. Oh my God. Like, I got to make this work. So I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I can't even give away personal training. No one wants to train with me. And so I got on Facebook. I love Facebook. And I didn't have TV at that time because I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
So no TV, but I got on Facebook and I found this coach who says, I show personal trainers and studio owners how to make a 6-figure income using my system. Holy grail. So
like Facebook system, you mean? Like
right. Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I wanted to make like a video about it. But it's interesting how Facebook and these social media platforms coming along have made it a lot. I don't know whether the word is easier or cheaper, but it's just you can start a business and be fairly successful without having to, because, you know, back in the day, to get out there, you either had to go grind door to door or spend a bunch of money on commercials on the radio and TV, and it's expensive.
Right.
But now on social media, if you just have some good friends, a good little network, and everybody shares, it's crazy. Like, and that's why I always encourage people. I'm like, what do you want to do? I know people that are in their jobs that are unhappy, whatever. Right. And I'm like, and they talk to me about starting my business. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? What do you like? What would, if you could do something the rest of your life, you know, what would that be? Even if it seems stupid, like it couldn't be a job, what is it? Because so many things you could turn into a job if you just think about it a little bit differently. And then I just, you know, if half the time they don't have an answer, but if they do have something, I'm like, well, do it, start a page and just do it on the side and start getting people sharing it and being known as that person, you know?
Right. Well, it's funny. Pardon me. I'm drinking kombucha because I'm working on my gut health.
Kombucha.
I like this stuff. So you know who Gary Vee is? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I went to a women's event, and he was the keynote speaker. And
that's cool.
And I'm really starting, let me see. As the last 5 years, I'm Facebook savvy, but before that, I was like one of those people, what am I doing? Yeah. Oh, what? It didn't compute. So I go to this event, and I get on the mic, and I'm like, hey, Gary, Janet Cook, New York City healthy chick. How do I build a following?
So you asked him that question
at
the thing? Oh, that's cool.
I go, I am so
Is it on video anywhere? Have you ever looked?
No, God.
That was before he started filming it all?
Yeah, before he got That'd
be cool.
Yeah, I wish I would. But the best piece of advice, he goes, Janet, it's like hosting a party at your house. I'm like, huh? He said, you play the best music, you throw the best party, and people want to follow you. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I don't quite understand that.
He's awesome. Actually, around the time when I first got Upox started, I originally it was actually right after my dad died. I left ACE, and I was really into video. I had made, at ACE, actually, I'd made some wakeboarding videos with friends. And then at ACE, I did a video of, we made the Super Bowl letters, and I documented the whole thing. We had this big party, and they played my video for, they had a huge party, and they've been around forever. So they had all these people here from around Springfield, and so many people came up to me. They're like, oh, you missed your calling, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then that was, social media was just getting big. Right. I had just been turned on to Gary Vee, and I'm just like, video is going to be so important on social media. I was like, I got to take advantage of this. Right. And that was when I made the jump. I went in and just started it, and I learned a lot from Gary Vee. I had already known kind of about social media just because I kind of grew up a little bit right around that age with it, and so I mean that was kind of what honestly he helped me get started too.
I read his book Crush It. I just was voracious as an entrepreneur, and I don't know. I've always known. One of my coaches, his name is Jeffrey Combs, and he has Golden Mastermind seminars, and he said, you're like me, we're psychologically unemployable.
I mean, well, I'm kind of the same way, honestly. Yeah. I hate if I go to somebody with a good idea, either if they take that idea and don't give you any credit, or if they don't listen to it, or you know what I mean, all these things. It's just like, God damn, and so it's And I'm a hard worker, but I have
Right.
to be motivated. And if I'm
Right.
somewhere where I'm not being motivated or there's no goal, like if I don't have, they're like, oh, if you hit these points, then you're going to exceed, you're going to get this raise. I didn't have any of that. There was no commission.
Right.
So that was it too. I'm like, well, I could go work all night long and see the benefits of that, you know, and I didn't have a problem with that point in my life.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Yep. So yeah, I just followed him and several other people, and I just knew at Integrative, it gave me a vision. So I just didn't know when. So long story short, we're here today, 2020.
isn't that crazy?
We're going into our 5th year, and I'm like, how in the heck did I do this? Well, I might not have said heck. There might have been some other things like. So everything I've done up to this point, I've had influence from people from like Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, Jeffrey Combs, one of my mentors, Drew Berman, and many, many other people. And the bottom line was, it was a calling, and I knew I had something. And so this coach who I worked with helped me get the tracks to run on. And the program that we have today is, I don't know, like with the, every time they would do an upgrade on like Windows or Apple, right? A new generation. So I think we're on VWPC, like, I don't know, 6.0.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you keep changing things, perfecting things, adding things, new stuff comes along, new information. Yeah.
And so, you know, having been in the gym environment and knowing my own story and doing coaching, that's where I said, oh, this is where I'm going to create a personal development program. So when our clients come in and they think they're signing up for an exercise and nutrition program, after they sign the paperwork, I go, oh yeah, did I mention you signed up for a personal development program? They're like,
yeah,
what? And so again, our program has transitioned as I've grown and come to understand what our clients truly need. And so there are some great gyms and programs here in town, but they don't address what feeds our clients.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Because there's a lot that goes into
yeah.
personal wellness.
Right.
I mean, like you said, from all that training and everything, it was a lot more than that. So you do the fitness side of it, but let's expand on a little bit more on the other stuff.
Sure. So fitness is just really a part of what we do. And so what we have found that women need a tribe. And
because you focus on women, I haven't really specified that, but
guys, I love training male clients, but they're not my niche.
Right.
And so working with women and building a safe place where they can come with no makeup on or having a bad day, and if they need to cry,
they don't feel they have to show off for anybody or anything
they
like
can
that.
pull that mask off and just be them, and we get to love on them. So we have a 4-step protocol called the Charm Lifestyle Protocol. And so step 1, we focus on mind-body alignment. So being a NASM, behavioral change specialist.
And what does that stand for exactly?
NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Okay.
Now, boys and girls, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to probably piss a lot of people off. There are a lot of people out there that call themselves personal trainers, but they don't have training. They've never gone to school. It's just what they've learned in the gym.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the National Academy of Sports Medicine is exactly that. It's based on science.
Yeah.
And so
those are some of the, I mean, every kind of profession has their certifications and but these are some of the higher certifications, the ones that people should have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's a lot more into a bicep curl than you think.
Right.
Right. And knowing about people's max. And so just for that sake, educate yourself. You want to find out if you are working with a personal trainer, find out if their certifications are current and what do you have to renew those every 2 years?
Okay.
And so I have to do continuing ed.
Yeah.
And so my behavioral change specialization Our specialist was a continuing ed. So it's based on this 5 stages of change. And so a lot of times why people don't, or individuals don't make a goal, is because their stage of change. They want it, but they're not ready. And so part of what we do now, which I didn't do 5 years ago, is really to help identify for that person what stage of change they are, and then deliver the intervention that meets that stage of change. And so a lot of times people are making, or clients have made these like, okay, I'm going to lose all this weight and blah, blah, blah. But what they don't realize is they have to change their mindset. They have to be willing to put the hard work in even when they don't feel like it. And being a fitness competitor gave me a whole nother realm of experience of when I'm in alignment and when I'm not with what I say I want.
So this is just because obviously, I mean, I'm not like huge into fitness by any means. I should be. I wish I had more time. I got to start. That's one of my goals of 2020 and just the decade in general. I got to start dedicating more time to just in general fitness stuff. But luckily I get a little bit of workout just hauling all this stuff around and whatnot.
Right.
But, what went into getting ready? What year did you do the competition again?
I did 2 in May and November of 2017, and also had a phenomenal photo shoot with Paul Buscetta, who shot for Oxygen, Strong Magazine, Playboy.
So how strict of a regimen did you have to, did I say that right?
Yes, regimen.
It's a weird word. How strict of a regimen did you have to be on, and what did that entail to get ready for something like that?
Good question. So prior to my show, I had been training for 2 years and fueling my body. And so 16 weeks out from my competition, my coaches would say, okay, you need to work out X times a week. This is for your cardio. This is for your weight training. This is for your functional training, and you must get sleep. Sleep is key. So a lot of people think that they can cut sleep. If you want to build muscle and not look like, I guess I want to say flabby, you need sleep. Sleep is very vital for the body to repair. So drinking water, not drinking alcohol, avoiding sugar, but being 80% compliant. And then as I got closer to my show, then they, like 6 weeks out, they start playing with your macros.
So you were working out like every day?
I was working out 4 to 6 times a week.
Okay.
And so I did not spend hours in cardio, 30 minutes of cardio, an hour weight training. And then I did functional training, which is movement, once a week. So I probably put in about, I don't know, maybe 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is there's bikini, which is you have muscle, but you're not like defined, like the Hulk. There's figure. Those are the women who really put a lot of time and energy in the gym. And physique, they don't wear the heels. And those are the three types of divisions or fitness for women.
And which one?
I did bikini.
Bikini?
Yes.
So it's kind of a weird question, but I've always wondered why do people get such serious spray tans? Does it just define your muscles more?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, not only that.
It's just crazy when you see people on those competitions. They're so spray tan. I'm like, Jesus, they're in back right now getting sprayed up probably.
Right? Well, the whole thing is you wash out when you're on stage. I'm very fair. I don't do sun. And
you're talking to a ginger over here for those that aren't watching on the video.
My Scott-Irish, French, English does not like the sun. So when you're up on stage and you have that like teeny tiny bikini bejeweled, I don't know. It's like getting your hair done. Your wife could tell you, like when her clients walk in the door and they haven't been doing their hair and they get their hair done.
Right.
But yeah, so it's part of the. I guess I want to say part of the makeup.
Yeah. I guess I could see it. They think of it kind of as makeup for your body.
Right. And so, yeah. And then there's what people don't realize is like hours of walking in heels and posing. So you can work a lot in the gym, but if your walk or any of your posing stinks.
Right. So did you have to like, is it strictly just posing, or did you have to talk it or do anything else? It's not like Miss America or like, what would you do for
for a candy bar right now? No. No, but it really is your personality comes out. I have a dance background, so I'm a ham.
Yeah.
And then it was really funny to watch people. My first one, I was like deer in headlights. I don't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I can't imagine doing it your first time.
I was like, what? And it was a small show, and I came in last out of 7. And then the second time I did Vegas, and I just did that photo shoot. You couldn't like scrape me off the ceiling, and I just had so much more confidence and really knew what I was doing. And I came in, I think 7th out of 20.
Nice.
Women 45 and up.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that I encourage people. It's not about what you do for the short term. It's what you do for the long term. And that's what I learned from my coaches, is that they can just dial in my nutrition for a show, and it's not like cutting things.
Yeah. Have you ever helped anybody to do a show? Has anybody ever wanted to do that? Or would you even want to mess with that?
No.
Like, I'm probably not the one
I'd send them to the professionals. Yeah. I mean, I could do it, but it's not my shtick. That's not my strong suit. But it's an art form. It's learning how to work with people's bodies, and one food could work great in another person, and another person can make her fluffy. So I've learned a lot about my own nutrition, and also in helping my clients, and especially if they're in menopause. That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But I think, again, what I share with my clients is competing. I had oh my gosh. And as an entrepreneur, it really, really got me in that zone. And I've been, challenged with overcoming soft tissue injuries from a car accident that was not my fault, and I had a pretty bad case of whiplash, and
that stinks.
Yeah, and I've been recruiting the wrong muscles, and so I've had I can't train like I did,
right,
and it's done a on my head, and so I don't get that stress out from being an entrepreneur. I don't have those outlets, and so I know I spin it in a positive way, Andrew, knowing that what I'm going through is going to help somebody that I work with. If
you share it. Yeah.
So.
No, I've seen that you've been sharing it online more and everything on Facebook and talking about it. And I think people need to shouldn't be afraid to talk more about issues, whether it's mental, physical, just putting it out there. If people can be more open about it. Problem is, we have all these assholes that are actually probably dealing with issues themselves, but so they take it out on the people that are actually being open about it. But yeah, just with mental health in general and all the problems and just the world, if people could just be more open about it and talk more about it, it seems like everybody would be better off.
Well, I'm probably a little too open with people, open book, but I know that's why people like working with me. And I've made some mistakes. I'm not going to lie. Being an entrepreneur. And
that's how you learn.
Right. And my business, again, has been through different cycles. And so what I really love about especially the clients we have now, our youngest one is 17 and our youngest one is 78.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I love
about you help a wide range, doesn't matter your age.
Right. Yeah. So while our delivery system, our 4-step delivery system on paper is the same, for each person it's individualized and customized. Yeah. Right. And so fitness is just a small part of it. We have yoga, we have cardio conditioning, but yet we also have one-on-one SMART coaching, which is based on SMART goals: sensible, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely.
So run me through. I'm a woman that comes in there. What's like is it like a weekly thing, or is it change all the time, or is there like a weekly routine for that you
good
do?
Question.
I'm just curious,
So we start people off with a 12-week program. I have had some people go, "Oh no, I need the year." Oh, love you.
Because you try to get people on a year so you can get
So it takes 90 to 120 days for people to find out or start to see what their challenges are.
True results. Right. And figuring things out. And
And so Some people, I'm done. And other people say, I want to stay. So they'll come in. And so our program is every 4 to 5 weeks, depending if there's a holiday, we'll change up the routine or the exercises. And they're corrective. They also address individuals who have upper cross syndrome. People who sit at a desk,
Typing.
right? Or drive, or look at a phone all day.
Right. Pretty much everybody knows.
Right. Including myself. I have to.
I know it's tough.
And so
posture here.
I'll tie you up. I'll have to tie you up with a yoga strap. I did with my clients today. One of my clients walked in. She goes, straps. I go, did you not hear it's bondage and discipline day? I mean, no. I mean it's posture day. And so anyway.
So how does it work as far as like, do they sign up for each classes like through the week, or do they have specific days that they come? How do you handle that?
Good question. We make them schedule it like a doctor's appointment. So we have a 5:15, 9 a.m., 12:30, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And that's pretty much to keep the groups smaller,
right?
More. What semi-private?
Semi-private,
yeah.
Right. And so my trainers are NASM certified trainers, and they're all over 40 or no, 38.
Yeah.
And we've all had something happen to us physically. And so none of us are
experience.
Right. We got life experience, and we also have training.
Yeah.
So our clients pick a time or that they come in. We have some clients that because of life, they'll be like, can I come in at such and such time? Yes, you can, but let's stick to your schedule.
Right.
So it's about creating that space to make it work. And so we also have evening, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Tuesday nights, we have yoga with the wonderful Angie Ryan. She is the best yoga trainer, in my personal opinion. She really is very knowledgeable.
Shout out to Angie.
Angie. Yoga with Angie. And so she works with our clients on Tuesday nights. And then we have what's called cardio conditioning. I hate calling it HIIT because then people freak out. HIIT? Am I going to be flipping things?
Yeah.
No. And so again, that's the other thing that we encourage our clients. You're not in competition with anybody but yourself. Mm-hmm. And so when you come into our studio, you check in just like you would, like if you're at school, put an X.
Right.
And our client, Jana, she's been with us now, 18 months. She hasn't lost a lot of weight, Andrew. She's gone down 2 pant sizes, 2 shirt sizes, but she's also gotten her self-confidence back. She's gotten a raise, not only 1 raise, but 2 raises.
Perfect. People
are seeing her in a different way.
Yeah. And overall more happy, I would imagine.
Right.
I mean, still 2 pant sizes. That's
a
big
lot.
Deal.
Yeah. But one of the things that happened for her this last week, because we get at least 2 weeks up there on the board, she's like, oh, man, that was the first full week I've had in a long time. And so that is a win. Mm-hmm. And so when you make it about the scale, she would have left us a long time ago. Right.
Well, it's nice. It's nice that they're semi-private. Everybody can get kind of attention that way. Mm-hmm. It's not overloaded. It seems like there's a lot of team. Everybody kind of helping each other out and encouraging each other. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Well, so I know you have some stuff going on right now. There's a couple of things that people out there can take advantage of for a short period of time still here. Right. You want to share a couple of those things with them?
I would love to. So right now I decided, it started last month. I know some people weren't ready because they were all chowing down or thinking this is the holidays. I'm just going to eat myself into a gluttonous state, eat and drink. Or maybe they just, have that mindset of, I don't exercise. I don't do anything now. I'm on vacation. So I decided to extend our 50% off our 12-week program. And yes, there is an investment. I'm going to say it flat out. We charge more than a big box gym or program here in town. And once you get in and you start to see all the things that we do,
So the 50% off is to help people get in there and experience that for a affordable cost and understand why the price is a little bit higher.
Right. You're getting one-on-one, and not only that, you're getting mentored, you're being coached, you're being trained, and you're being held accountable.
Yeah.
And we care if you miss. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call it right out. Gyms don't give a bleep if you miss because you're gym tithing. Yeah. They love that because you're not wearing down their equipment. Right. So they love people who join at the beginning of the year.
Just collect the money.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. And we are also very, here's another thing. People are like, well, I'm just going to go work with a trainer. Well, that's great. But I've heard on the DL from my clients that they've hired trainers at other places and the trainers like looking at their phone.
Right.
They're talking to people. They're not paying attention to them.
Yeah.
And that not that we're on our clients, but we're very concerned about their posture, the way their form.
Yeah, you're engaged with them, helping them write that. Yeah.
And I'll say this, my mother-in-law she's awesome. She's a spitfire.
Yeah.
She was working out at some place here in town. I won't say where, but they had her lifting crazy ass weight over her head. She's 72. I'm not saying she can't do that.
Yeah.
But the first time she trained
it's not necessary.
No.
To injure herself.
Right. Right. She went to go
less weight, more maybe.
Oh yeah. And you're not even a trainer. And people who were certified had her lifting 2 12-pound weights over her head. Yeah. Where she wasn't even getting full extension. Mm. And one of my trainers like, Karen, what are you doing? So that's the thing. You want to go where people understand your stage, your fitness level, and what you're capable of.
And that's why you focus on the niche. Mm-hmm. You specialize in one area and don't try to overextend a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So you got 50% off your 12-week program.
Correct.
And also, am I correct that people can get on your Facebook and get a free 28-day?
Oh, yeah. Detox guide. Now, detox is not like a poo-poo cleanse.
Right.
Or
diet.
Right.
Is it like more of a challenge? Or
it is.
Okay.
It's a detox from your toxic lifestyle that you're in.
Right.
And so it's self-monitoring. It's to give you an introduction of how we work with people. I am not a nutritionist. I do not write meal plans for people. However, I can give guidelines. So in that guide, you'll get guidelines of the foods. We don't believe in no food is bad. We don't want to get into that because that's when people are like, ooh, I was so bad.
Right.
No, you made a choice and there's a consequence. So they get to understand a little bit more about our lifestyle and how we operate.
Yeah. So we've got 50% off the 12-week program. You can get on there and get a free 28-day detox guide challenge. And then what do we got here? You were just featured in the Illinois Times. Is that correct?
Right. The Health and Wellness edition.
Okay.
We're on page 16.
How one woman's personal pain has cultivated a tribe of sisters who have each other's back. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening and not watching, is this it
just came out
multi-page here?
Yeah. Oh no, just one.
Oh, okay.
No, one big page.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
It tells a little bit about our program and the 10 reasons why people fail at setting a goal or hitting a goal. Mm-hmm. We talk a little bit about our system and what we do and what we offer. And we're actually, Andrew, rolling out some very exciting things that I know no other gym in town does.
Perfect. Well, that's good. It's always good to have some different options. Do you want to share those, or is this a surprise coming up, or stay tuned on Facebook?
Well, it's another addition to our program.
Okay.
And so I have this shoulder injury, and so I've been in physical therapy, and it's made me aware that I slouch. So I've really gotten passionate about people's posture and how that impacts their daily lives. So we're implementing a postural portion of our program, and I'm incorporating some tools that are going to be diagnostic where nobody else does these. It's on functional.
Posture is so important too.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we have standing desks all over our studio, and when I worked at Ace, I would sit at that desk for so long.
Right.
I could just feel like I hated it, and they eventually, we got some standing thing we could do.
Right.
But when I started my business, I was like, I'm giving every employee a standing desk. We have these multiple different chairs you could sit in if you want to, just to be able to switch it up all day long. I hate being in one spot for too long at the same position.
Exactly. And that's something, and so I will give myself a little plug. So also why we're different than any other program here, we look at helping our clients get complete with their environment, their money, their relationships, and their well-being. And so we have a screening type of survey that gives us an idea where we need to focus on helping them get healthy. So environment, that would be definitely one.
Yeah, for sure.
Desk and clutter.
Oh my, I'm bad about clutter too, because I just get so many papers and people give me stuff, and like my desk is always terrible, and I always look at it, I'm like, I just need to clean this up, and eventually I end up just stacking everything somewhere else, so I'm just clean on my desk, and just to relieve some stress there, I guess, from visually when I'm trying to work.
Well, that's something that we, again, share with our clients, that if they're have clutter in their house, it's related to their weight or their energy.
Yeah.
If they're worrying about finances, that's going to zap their ability to lose weight and be healthy. And so we have several other types of assessments that we take a look at. What's the underlying, what's the root cause? So you can go and diet and exercise all you want in 2020, but that's so 1980s. If you're ready to really understand,
tackle all the problems.
Right.
Basically, it's like, let's address everything and just get everything back on track here.
I do have to say, for the record, I do not diagnose.
Yeah.
I do not claim to know how to fix people, help people. I can't fix things in the past. That's why I have the tools of counselors in town that I can direct people to.
Yeah.
Medical things. That's why I work with and that we talked about that at the end of our article. We send our clients to A Balanced Life up in Morton. Yeah. And I personally have used them, and they've helped me to balance my hormones after menopause. And and then also we work with Good Gut here in town. That's a pet project of Dennis Prinkett, who your former employer. Yeah. And so that's something he's super passionate about. And that's a service that we turn our clients onto, and as well as partnering with a company I've been with for 13 years and use some of their products in my own wellness journey, Isogenics. So I'm just the guide on the side. I give you the tracks to run on. How you use that program is really up to you.
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Yeah. So coming up on an hour here, is there anything else specific that you would like to share or the people to know? You could recap one more time. You got the 50% off 12-week program is huge. So, and that goes to the end of the month?
End of the month.
All right. So we only got about a week left. Anybody wants to take advantage of that?
You get a free 30-minute strategy session with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You come in and I ask some questions, and I get to determine your level of readiness. I've had people come in and say, I really want to do this program, but I'm like, you're not ready. You're right. You're going to be wasting your money until you've decided you're ready for this. It's not going to work.
Right.
Nothing will work.
Okay.
And let me see. I'm getting married.
Ah, yes.
It's to my fiance, Brian Hoffick.
I met him once. Seems like a good guy.
I met him through one of my clients.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought he was a pervy dad on Facebook. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. And then I went back and
swipe.
Yep. And then it wasn't. What's the one? Because I did. No. Yeah, not Tinder. Yeah. So he and I will be getting married.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, June 25th of 21. I'm trying to think what else. You asked me that question.
Yeah, last question here. What is the hardest part about being a business owner, particularly a small business owner, probably?
Well, everybody, when I tell people I own my business, they're like, oh, that's awesome. You must have all the time in the world. I'm like, I own a job.
Right.
So that's a challenge. And I'll be 52 in February. And I have to listen to the advice or the coaching I'm giving my clients. I can't grind it out like I did in my 20s and 30s, not even my 40s.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to. So it's really about...
It's tough.
Yeah.
And
balancing.
Honestly, Dan with Auto Editions, the last person I had on, it was kind of the same. You never really are on vacation, even if you take a vacation. And I told him, people don't understand that, there's problems you got to deal with, especially if you have employees, you know what I mean? You got to make sure that they have stuff to do. They know what they need to do. I'm blessed with a couple great employees that can keep themselves busy and know the stuff they need to do. But dialing in your process and stuff helps with that. But, especially when I was first getting started, you can even ask my wife. Even now, sometimes I try to back off a little bit because we have a kid,
right? And
I'm trying to get into work earlier instead of being later.
Yeah.
But I would, I'd stay up all night long. I'm like, I'm about to get this website done. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get it done right now. And I would literally stay. But it was easier too when I had a home office.
Yeah.
Because I would just be able to go in the room and tuck away in there and knock it out. But it's just like you have stuff, it's on your mind, it's weighing on you, and there's just stuff that needs done. And I was just telling her this morning, I'm like, geez, I feel like I can just never be ahead of, it's like I'm always chasing the ball right in front of me here. It's like someone's holding it right in front of me on the treadmill. But at the same time, it's invigorating. You get the rewards from the hustle you put in. Right. And I guess it is what it is. As a business owner, you hope at some point you don't have to work quite as hard.
Right. One of the things I had to have a come to Jesus with is, and I had these people in place, but I had a business consultant who said, you can't afford these people. You have to get rid of them. Yeah. And so I got rid of my assistant and a couple of my trainers, and I just realized I'm human and I can't grind it out. So while I tell myself I can't afford it, but I can't afford not to grow my business this year. So that's why we hired you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we're helping with that.
You are doing an outstanding job. I also hired a virtual assistant who I'm going to be having a meeting with, and she cracks the whip. A little bit
cheaper way to do it probably than...
Well, I pay a retainer, and
so as much as you use.
Right. Yeah. And so the idea is to get me systematized again. Yeah. And clean up my mess again. Yeah. I'm not, like I always say, I'm not really good at the administrator part. I can do it, but it's not my thing.
It's not fun to do.
Right. I'm more the big person, big idea person. But I would say anybody who's thinking about growing a business or having their own business, do your homework. Because
and be ready to work.
Yeah. And entrepreneurship is...
If you don't have the discipline to actually go and get it done and not, just mess around, it's like... Which is easy to do. Like when I first started sitting at home, maybe I'll just go watch TV for a little bit. You know what I mean? You think about that, and you just have to make yourself not do it. Act like it's not even there.
Exactly. And that, I have rituals, and so I love Brandon Bouchard. So anybody's who's an entrepreneur and you're struggling, has high performance or high performers. Take a little bit of his. I like Gabby Bernstein and Mel Robbins. She tells it like it is. But to be an entrepreneur, you really have to be grounded. I've learned I had to be grounded. If I'm not, then I can't serve. Yeah. It can't be a value to anyone, including myself.
Okay. Well, Janet, thanks for coming on. Again, Janet Cook with Vivacious Wellness Personal Coaching.
Yeah,
had to get it in the right order there. Again, she has 50% off her 12-week program. You can get on Facebook or give her a call, and she can hook you up with the free 28-day detox challenge.
Right.
And free 30-minute
strategy session.
Okay.
Not a consult.
So get in there and see if it'll work for you. Meet her, give her a chat, and she's great at responding on social media. And like she said, we're helping her with videos, so check out our videos, tips, all kinds of stuff on there. And
they really Ryan and Holly did a great job on this last one. And talking about me being 230 pounds, I will say this, my sister gave me that picture. I threw away all my fat pictures. And my sister said,
"Dude, does anybody have any of those? I need them."
Yeah, she gave me one of those. I was like, And then I was like, oh, bless your heart, because no one believes that I used to weigh 230 pounds.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Battled it and built a business out of it.
Yeah. One woman's pain built a tribe.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on again. This is Inside the Box, and you can check us out on YouTube, pretty much anywhere. Facebook. What do we got? Spotify, Apple.
IG, Instagram.
Have we been putting these on Instagram? No.
Pinterest?
On stories? On the movies? Have we been putting these on Instagram? The TV, IGTV?
A little bit.
What'd you say? To an hour. I think we went over an hour.
Oops.
It's all
I have
right.
the gift of gab.
It's all good. All right. Thanks again,
Andrew.
Janet. Yep.